Hey everyone, today I'm going to tell you the story about how I booked the largest shoot in my career and how it was absolutely nothing like I had planned it would be. I got my first camera back in 2012. It was a T3i DSLR that I bought and picked up throughout my time in university. I had already taken a elective course in film photography and I just really enjoyed it. I think the iPhone 4 was out at the time and there was just a big accessibility to taking pictures everywhere and all the time. I started shooting when we were on vacation with my parents growing up when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, but having this, being an adult and having a DSLR, I was like, wow, this is like my first camera. I bought this camera because I wanted to do a thing and now I get to do it. So this was like my first real, I feel like it's my first real camera. At the time I was in university and I was shooting with friends and I was shooting with their friends and everyone I could get my hands on. I was shooting models, I was shooting portraits, I was doing events, I was doing sporting things. I was shooting everything just to have muscle memory and understanding camera settings, pretty much. Didn't have a whole lot of expenses or responsibilities or anything like that. So, if I was making $100 a week, that was probably enough with a camera. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm not charging people, but when they come to me and they ask me to do them a favor, I'll be like, okay, well, how about $50? How about $100? And I was so busy that it was actually funding my university career. At the time, I was studying in pharmacy or biopharmaceutical science, which is not at all photography. So it was giving me this kind of duality of, all right, do I want to go this traditional route or do I go this artistic route that has no real rules? And I just finished graduating. And as soon as I graduate, one of the random people that I had shot with comes up to me and is like, hey, I work for a salon, I'm a hairstylist, and the salon I'm working for wants to do these huge window print graphics for the front of the salon. I'm like, cool, sure, I'm a photographer. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Why not? I meet with the salon. Long story short, the guy tells me he has a $1,000 budget for me. And I'm like, yo. I just graduated. I'm literally like a week out of university. And I'm at this crossroads of like, do I go this traditional route? Do I start sending, I did start, but do I go, towards sending out all of these cover letters and trying to get a job in all these labs versus this photography career path that literally was kind of clawing at me as soon as I get out of school. It's like, hey, here's $1,000, Mr. Frat Boy. Would you like $1,000 for doing something you're doing for $40 already? So when this happened, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is possible? This is a real, like what? This is a possibility in photography. Like you can actually, all of these places have pictures. Oh my goodness, look at this bus stop. Look at this place. Look at this, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, all these people were paid to do that. So that means I can be one of these people that gets paid to do that. I don't need to follow my brother's footsteps or my whoever else's footsteps to try to go this traditional route. It was really eye-opening because I was like, I only thought this was going to be, making a couple quick bucks on the side. And this job totally changed my mind of what was possible with a camera. I know it's just $1,000, but everything is relative, right? Like your first $1,000 shoot is pretty crazy. And looking back, for what they got out of it, I don't even know if those pictures are still up there, but there was no clause in it that they can't still be up there. So if you're in downtown Ottawa, go check out Scissors Hair Studios. Let me know if there's still those 2 pictures up there. But I think the opportunity itself lended so much to me that it was worth whatever they were going to pay me. I remember bending over backwards being like, oh, I'm going to go rent this, or I'm going to go buy these flashes, I'm going to buy these modifiers, I'm going to throw everything at it because it's like, wow, I'm making $1,000. I usually do all this and I make $40. So like, why would I not spend $960 to get new things and then still make that $40 and get the pictures be better, that much better? At least that's how I was thinking at the time. But yeah, that was one of those situations where it just kind of fell on my lap where it was like, okay, well, what do I really want to do in life? What do I want to do with this photography thing? And it's a question I hadn't even thought of before this happening. I was like, the photography was just a way to meet people and to express myself and to not be awkward at parties. Photography to me was my escape from being in social situations that were making me nervous. I was like, oh no, I can just focus in this camera thing and lose myself in this event. I could get invited to all these events and parties by still being a little loner and a little, weird kid in the corner with his camera. But now I was able to realize that this camera is my access to work in an environment that allows me to just be me. Photography to me is this thing that allows me to live my life and allows me to live my lifestyle while still providing a service and feeling fulfilled with literally just a camera in my hands. It's something that is easy to look at and look at other people's stories or look at other people's achievements and be like, okay, well, that's great for them. That's not happening to me. And I've never felt like it was happening to me either. So if you're, watching YouTube videos, or you watch, especially if you're watching me, but if you watch anyone else, no one is where they are without being where you currently are now. So don't sweat it. We're literally all there. You get your first studio and it's like, oh, I've been dreaming this forever. And you watch all of these, oh my goodness, I've been dreaming this forever. Yeah, you know what? I'm dreaming about this right now and I don't have one. But it really is part of that process. It's part of this long career job thing that we have. After that shoot, I did this shift of, you know what? This is a possibility. This is something that is so much more instantly gratifying than this whole schooling route thing that I don't even like doing in the first place. Let me just put the effort that I did in university into, well, actually, I put a lot more effort into my photography than I did back in university, but let me just use that work ethic and apply it to this art form that I didn't even know was a career path to begin with. And when you start thinking it like that, when you start thinking of it as a career, you start thinking of your service that you're providing others, you'll be a much better photographer and you'll be able to just kind of be a better business, a much more profitable business in the long run. You'll be at a point, you'll be 6 years in, you can be 15 years in, and it's gonna be a really quiet 4, 5, 6 months, and you're like, man, do I suck? Is this, how come all these guys on YouTube have these $100 million studios and these well, maybe not $100 million studios, but $100,000 studios and these crazy, what are all these things that they have and why don't I have them? But it's literally, no one starts with all of it. People start with one camera and then one opportunity, and then you get a big job, you buy a second flash, and then you buy this, and then you get that. And then it's like, you have too much stuff, you need storage. Then you start getting a storage, and you start having a live workspace. And then there's so many tiny little steps that it's easy to get lost and see someone a few years down the road, or it's not even a time thing, because it's like, just because you have a certain thing doesn't mean, just because someone else has a certain thing doesn't mean you're not gonna get it, and that doesn't mean that that person wasn't where you are at some point as well. I got so excited for a $1,000 shoot that I would probably turn down today. Especially given the terms of that actual shoot, I would absolutely turn that down today. But if it wasn't for that shoot, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's not about, it's all about perspective, and it's about where you are in your career, or where you are in your month, really. Photography is truly a viable business option, even today in 2024, even with the rise of AI and everything else that gets thrown at it, and CGI, and the realness of photography is still value. And I think if you're at this starting point in your career, or if you're looking at YouTube and you're looking at all these people that are 10, 15, 30 years down the line, you're like, man, how am I supposed to compete with all these people? All these people were where you are now as well. We all had one camera, one lens, one light, one tripod. We all had one until it becomes 2, until it becomes 3. Shit takes time. You'll get through it. Have a good Monday. I'll see you on Thursday.